Hey guys, welcome back to Warhammer Weekend Times. I'm your host Stan, and today I've got a 3-player free-for-all battle for y'all. I'm going to be playing as the Tomb Kings, and my opponents are going to be Degressy McFalligan playing as the mighty Ogre Kingdoms. And then way over here, we have Dewa playing as the Orcs and Goblins. Let's go ahead and go over the army comps really quickly, and then I'll start this battle because it does start pretty quickly. But anyway, guys, Dewa's got 1 unit of regular armored orcs, and then 2 units of Harboth orc archers. He's also got a unit of Black Orc destroyers, and I think he's got 3 units of orc boys. He's also got some Harboth Black Mountain boys, and then 2 units of Black Orcs. Over here on the Cav wing, he's got some Savage Boar boys, and then some, sorry guys, he's got some Giants, and then some Orc Boar boys as well. He's got a unit of Doomdiver Catapult, and he's also got some more Harboth Black Mountain boys over here, and then some Black Orc bodyguards as well. Over here for this over here on this right wing, he's got some Orc Biggins and some Black Orcs, and then he's also got some Orc Boar boys and then some Orc Boar Biggins. Over for my army, I've got a little more kind of a Cav-focused army, but I've got a lot of Tomb Skeletons, whole line of these guys. These are actually going to be a Skirmisher Jav unit, so they're going to do a lot of damage with each volley. I've also got 2 units of Tomb Guard behind them, and then a long line of Scarabs to act as kind of an anti-cavalry blanket, and then I've also got 2 units of Ushabtis, really good multiple HP unit that does cause fear. I've also got 2 units of Mummies, 1 on each flank, and these guys are also going to be a multiple HP 2-handed unit. And then over here, I got 2 units of Bone Giants. I've got 3 units of Skeleton Horse Archers, 3 units of Necropolis Knights, and then 2 units of Tomb King Chariots. And those are going to be that's going to be my army, anyway, guys. And then over here for Degressy McFalligan's army, he's got a whole line of Noblars. I think he's bringing like 5 or 6 Noblars. Really good meat shield capability. He's also got 2 units of Man-Eater Ogres, and then 2 units of regular Ogres in the behind them. He's got a unit of Ogre-led Belchers, some Saber Tusks, a unit of Iron Guts over here. Very, very elite unit. They are kind of expensive at 6,500 gold. And then over here, he has a unit of Mornfang Cav, which his general is going to be in right over here. And I don't think I missed any units, guys. I apologize if I did, but this battle does start off very quickly, like I said. Over here, guys, I'm going to be charging up my Skeleton Horse Archers. Or that's the first thing I'm going to do is charge these guys down here to harass Degressy McFalligan's meat shields. I decided that was probably going to be my best target because I wouldn't probably get a lot of kills on some of these higher HP ogres, and if I could thin out some of these Noblars, that would kind of hit them where they do shine, which is in their numbers. If I can thin them down to just kind of lower numbers, they're not going to be quite so problematic. They do also have a net that they throw, which is really cool. It's really effective at disrupting formations and stopping charging infantry that are coming into your formations. So anyway, guys, I'm going to have that first volley go off, and then another volley coming in, and at that point, Degressy McFalligan is going to have enough of my antics, and he's going to be charging in his Noblars and his Ogres all at once, very aggressively trying to come in and really punish my army and my Skeleton Horse Archers. And I need to get these guys out of here very quickly. They do have a lot of kill potential that they can take advantage of. And then over here, the Mornfang Cav are going to charge right into my Ushabti and do a devastating charge, take out like 5 or 6 Ushabti in that single charge. But then my Ushabti are going to continue to charge through, and they get caught by these nets. And you can see them getting knocked down, interrupting their charge. A few of them are still going to charge through, which were kind of like, you know, behind, you know, lagging behind a little bit. My Ushabti are going to be starting to do some work onto these Noblars and to these Man-Eater Ogres. But the Man-Eaters definitely have more HP than my Ushabti do, so I need to be careful. I do outnumber his Ogres with my Ushabtis, but I still need to be careful because if he can kill like 3 or 4 Ushabtis per Ogre, he's still going to, trade favorably. We can see the Doomdiver Catapult coming in, hitting some of Degressy McFalligan's Iron Guts, and then over here we can see my Tomb King Chariots and Dewa's Giants charging in through the Noblars and just throwing them up in the air. A lot of these guys are going to get back up, but a lot of them aren't. And then the Giants, I believe, are going to kind of focus in on these Saber Tusks, which if they focus down some of these Giants or focus on some of these Giants, they can do quite a bit of damage. But if you clump up like this and the Giants kick, you can lose these Saber Tusks almost in just 1 or 2 attacks. Over here, I do have my Bone Giants kind of focused together, and this is going to help overlap some of their AoE attacks and hopefully still knock some of these Ogres. But I'm really not attacking very quickly with them, and they're kind of walking in place. And I do know that their attack animations are actually going to be changed. Instead of just kicking in the next patch, they're going to actually swing their clubs, and it's going to look very, very devastating when they do. I'm going to still charge around my Tomb King Chariots. I want to target kind of weaker, lower HP targets, because typically if you charge these guys in to big targets, they won't even like throw them up in the air. They sometimes just will stop and you know, kind of get caught on units they're trying to charge into. Another good charge through these Noblars is going to cause them to waver and shake, or I guess they were wavering and now they're going back to shaken. And then I am going to be charging around my Necropolis Knights. Hopefully going to get a few good charges. That's one thing that I do have an advantage of over some of the other two armies, is I do have a sizable cav force, while Degrassi McFalligan really only had his Sabertusses and Mornfang, and Orcs and Goblins, actually, they had a few cav. They had some Boar Boys, and some Orc Boar Biggins and stuff like that, and his Giants, if you want to classify them as cav, because they technically abide by the same rules that cavalry do. A really good charge coming in from Degrassi McFalligan, killing some of these Black Orcs. Really strong multiple HP targets, but since none of us, or not really any of us, have really devastating artillery, we are actually going to be clumping up, and that's kind of where my Giants are going to come in, where I can do a lot of damage to some of these targets. And then over here, it does look like Degrassi McFalligan is going to get a shot off with his Ogre Lead Belchers. I didn't see where it landed. I did see the screen shake, but then the Orc Boys are going to charge into them. But these Lead Belchers are not wussy. They are going to do quite a bit of damage when they charge in. And then over here, we can see Degrassi McFalligan's Ogres charging into the flanks of my Necropolis Knights. I want to get these guys out of here as fast as I can. Most of my micro, when I have, like, you have all of these cav like this, you really want to be focusing in on, you know, really doing a lot of damage and moving them around and microing them. But anyway, guys, I'm going to take another shot from those Ogre Lead Belchers on my mummies. They're going to fall down and some of them are going to get back up, but I am going to have multiple HP on those guys. So you see some more of those Doomdiver catapults coming in, hitting some of these Man-Eaters and some of the other Degrassi McFalligan's units in here. They are going to be steady. Some of his Ogres are shaken, though. Ogres have okay-ish morale. I would argue they're probably a little bit better than Orcs and Goblins. I don't know the exact numbers on them, but they do seem to hold a little better. They're less in a unit, so they do have that against them. But his Iron Guts here are actually shaken, and that's actually really surprising. You don't usually see, like, these super elite units from the Ogres routing, but they are completely surrounded by Black Orcs and Harboss Black Mountain Boys, and those guys are going to be multiple HP targets as well. Lots and lots and lots of elite units on the field. I probably, in my army, am fielding the least amount of elite units, or you know, the least amount of high HP units. Degrassi McFalligan definitely had quite a few with his Ogres and Man-Eaters, but almost all of Dewa's infantry units are going to be multiple multiple HP, except for his Orc Boys and a lot of his Boar Cav. So you're going to see his units being very durable, able to take a lot of punishment before his units start going down. I do still have one of my Bone Giants over here. He is kind of kicking into the sides of this kind of mass of Black Orcs, and that's kind of where you want your Giants, is kind of on the outcrop, so they're not surrounded, and you can kind of really kind of start cutting into the sides of other units. I do have some Necropolis Knights left, not many though, and I really want to hold on to as many of my cav as I can, because as soon as I lose them, I'm not going to have really any kind of advantage over Dewa. And I think really at this point I've lost a lot of my cavalry. I do believe I have some of my Skeleton Horse Archers, but they have such a lackluster charge that unless I get just completely rear charges onto them, I'm not going to have a lot of effective kills. I'm going to be throwing a lot of the Javelins in with my Tomb Skeletons, though, and doing a lot of damage to Dewa's army. But he is going to be pushing through as he finishes up killing off a few of my Necropolis Knights as well. He does have that giant unit right here as also, and they are very healthy. He still has both in that unit. In come the Doomdiver catapults into my Doom Skeletons, killing a ton of them. A lot of these guys are going to get back up, but that second Doomdiver coming in did quite a bit of damage, and that's kind of what the Doomdiver is for. It's for really just kind of wearing down other units. It's really not just it's not like a mortar or Hellstrom Rocket Battery where you do a ton of damage in a short amount of time. It's really kind of more of a time investment. I don't think they're very expensive either. I think it might even be less than 2k gold, which is very cheap for an artillery unit. Over here, the Black Orc Destroyers are going to charge into my Tomb Skeletons and do a ton of damage to them, but being the Tomb Kings, I am not going to really rout. Then over here we see Degrassi McFalligan charging in with his Mornfang Cav into, looks like the flanks of these Black Orcs, and he's going to probably get a good amount of kills in here, knocking over quite a few Black Orcs as he cuts into the line and the massive just blob of Orcs. And if we go and look over here, We can also see Dewa's skirmisher forces are almost untouched. He's going to be charging in the ogre, or Degrassi McFalligan is going to be charging in his ogres into Dewa's army, or into his skirmisher force. But I don't know how effective they're going to be, just on the fact that when you outnumber units like giant or like ogres like this, it's very easy to get your ogres stun locked, and that may be something that Dewa is going to be able to do. There's only about 11 ogres here. And he does have some Noblars here, which are going to be fighting against some of these Orc Biggins, which will hopefully distract them from wailing on these Ogres, so these Ogres can do a little more work against these Orc Biggins. But look at these Orc Biggins. They're almost as big as the Ogres. That's crazy. But the Orc Biggins, I believe, are going to be multiple HP units. I think they're 2 HP, so they're going to stand up to the Ogres fairly well. I think Ogres have 6 or 7 HP. It really depends on which ones you're bringing. And their stats do kind of vary whether or not you're bringing like Man-Eaters or Ogres or Iron Guts. You're definitely going to see higher attack and defense values on each one of those respectively. Over here we see Dewa's Black Orcs charging into the Ogres over here, and that is going to cause them to rout. They're going to be out of here. There's only 5 left in this unit and 4 in that one, so those Ogres really went down very, very quickly once Dewa had moved in. Over here, we can get a really nice volley of these Noblars firing their nets in, knocking down a ton of the Harboss Black Mountain Boys, and actually negating their charge bonus that they would have gotten. And as you can see, as they kind of... Oh, actually, no, I guess they do continue to charge after they get back up. Sort of. You kind of saw it. Most of these guys stopped short as soon as a few of them kind of started to engage in these Noblar units. And that's the thing is, guys, sometimes the charges in Medieval 2 for infantry can definitely be a little wonky, because sometimes different soldiers in the unit will arrive at the unit you're charging against at different times, and sometimes they will say, okay, well, the charge has impacted, everybody stop charging. So, yeah, this is something you sometimes see. One of the giants has fallen in Dewa's giant unit, but at this point, I really don't think there's much that either me or Degrassi McFalligan have in the field. I've actually already admitted defeat. All I had left was this Ushabti unit that was just way out in the middle of nowhere. I guess they were chasing a unit, and I had lost my micro on them completely, but just a ton was happening so quick in the battle. I was trying to micro, and I just really didn't do a very good job in this battle, but it was still fun nonetheless. See some of my dead Scarabs, a lot of my dead Necropolis Knights. Big mistake on my part was not moving my Necropolis Knights and utilizing them more as a mobile force and just kind of letting them get caught in melee. That's not what you want to do, especially against high HP targets. Over here we see Dewa's Rugged Armored Orcs very slowly marching up, and I think all that's left on the field at this point is maybe a couple Noblar units. I'm not even sure if those are still left in the field. Yeah, here they are. Just a few Noblar units left, but they are going to rout as I speak. And then over here, all Degrassi McFalligan really has is just this very, very small amount of Mournfang Cav. And I think he's just going to go ahead and try and get a few good charges in on Dewa, but at this point, Dewa is really kind of won. There's not really anything we can do against his army, or that Degrassi McFalligan could do against Dewa's army. He did kind of come to the engagement a little bit late, but I think that Degrassi McFalligan and I really started to focus on each other. I don't think he appreciated me firing in with my my skeleton horse archers into his Noblars, and maybe it got a little personal. Not really. I mean, you know, whenever we play these games, everybody's always a good sport about stuff. I honestly don't think I've ever had a game where people have honestly got upset or salty about anything. And, you know, if they do, it's usually just because we've experienced, like, several crashes at one after another, but if that happens, it's usually because we're trying to do, like, a big, like, 7-person siege or something, and we usually expect that. I mean, you know, it's like, well, you know, we got all these people playing, we'll sometimes even scale back to normal or even small scale. I usually don't like doing small scale because it does kind of upset the game balance a little bit, because, like, giants will only have one giant in them, you know, certain cav forces and so everybody's, you know, just much smaller, and I, you know, in my opinion, I think large is probably the best unit scaling to play on, because it does increase the amount you have in your infantry forces, but like giants and stuff will still stay at 2. And I, you know, it's just my opinion, you know, guys, but I, you know, anyway, Degrassi McFalligan's Morphin Cav are just going to be kind of caught in here, and one's going to go down, and at this point, you know, Dewa's army is just going to be charging in, picking on this one Mournfang, and that's about it. We'll go ahead and fast forward through this battle. or through the last, you know, just a little bit of it. And his cav is going to go down, and this battle is going to go to Dewan. He had quite a strong force left. How much did he have left? He only lost about half of his force, so he still had a very, very potent force to bring down on me and Aggressive McFalligan in the end. And he even got the most amount of kills, so it's not like he came in late at the game and just, you know, survived. I mean, he actually did the most amount of damage. But it was a very, very fun free-for-all, guys, in my opinion. Everybody kind of got in there at the same time. You saw everybody fighting against everybody hitting everybody at the same time. Really a lot of fun. Let's look at my kills. Not very good. My Shepty got 98. Only 8 with my Scarabs. Really, really lackluster. All of them died. Really not anything spectacular. My Tomb Skeletons got 82. I don't think I did very good with my Necropolis Knights. 35, 45, and I think 36. I think that's the one that lines up there. But yeah, again, guys, not my best game, but definitely a very fun one to watch. But anyway, guys, I hope you guys like this video. I really liked playing it. Hopefully we'll have some more free-for-all content for you guys in the future if we can get some really fun games like this going. But anyway, guys, I hope you all liked it, and I'll see y'all next time.